I think when you look at the competition in the NBA's Western Conference and what other teams have done during the offseason, then, it's easy to discount the Lakers. But I think this is a team that's out to show that last year wasn't a fluke, that it was only the beginning of the next Laker dynasty. And in today's video, I'm laying out the new faces on this Lakers team, how these players fit together, and my prediction for the season. Hey, it's Troy. Hit the subscribe button and turn on notification bells. I'm posting fresh videos on this channel several times a week. I'm going for 424 likes on today's video. And if you live in the LA area, then you know what I'm talking about with that 424 number. Also, make sure you stay tuned until the end of this video to hear my exclusive prediction for the Lakers this season. Can the Lakers repeat for a second time? Can they get that second championship in a row? It's not an easy thing to do. We all know that. Especially when you look at an NBA that I think is stronger than we can even remember. So let's break down this Lakers roster. And of course, it begins and ends with LeBron James himself. Do I really need to spend time talking about LeBron? I don't think you clicked on this video for a LeBron James scouting report. Okay, here's my scouting report. He's the best player on the court basically 100% of the time. First or second best player in NBA history. If you want to go to the science lab and create a basketball player, you're going to get LeBron. Passing, scoring, defense, rebounding. You name it, he's got it. Anything and everything. The only thing he doesn't do is sell concessions and perform during the halftime show. The dude is becoming ancient in terms of NBA players and his age, but he is showing no signs of slowing down. He's joined, of course, by Anthony Davis, the Brow himself. He's the total package too, efficient on offense, stellar on defense, pterodactyl-esque wingspan. In their first season together, LeBron and AD, they were as good as advertised, and they are looking to build on that for this season. LeBron has never played with a guy as good as Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis has never played with a guy as good as LeBron. AD is even getting more and more consistent with his three-pointer. So as that comes around, he's basically going to be even more unstoppable than he already is. It's hard for a guy like Anthony Davis to get MVP consideration when he's on a team with a guy like LeBron James. But make no mistake, Anthony Davis is a legit MVP candidate. So those are the two forward spots. Really intrigued with the Lakers starting guards that they're going to be rolling out as well. They didn't have a true point guard in the starting lineup last year. Because remember, they had Danny Green and Avery Bradley at those guard spots. LeBron was acting as a de facto point guard, but both Danny Green and Avery Bradley are on different teams. So this vaults Kentavious Caldwell-Pope into the starting lineup. In terms of his offense, feast or famine a lot of times. Might not always get the type of point production you think a guy like him is capable of getting, but he does give you another guy that the opposing defenses will need to guard out to the three-point line, because he's always a threat to score there. Then his backcourt teammate is Dennis Schröder, came over in that trade with Oklahoma City before the draft. He's been a sixth man for the last several years and really excelled in that role, one of the best bench guys in the league. Now he is taking his talents to the starting lineup, and playing with LeBron, he's going to be able to focus on scoring, which is where he's pretty comfortable. Close to 19 points per game in a reserve role last season. The center spot has been overhauled as well. Last year, it was JaVale McGee and Dwight Howard. The Lakers, they went out and signed Marc Gasol from the Toronto Raptors and Montrezl Harrell, who was playing right across the street for the Clippers. Gasol and Harrell both bring different looks to the center spot, and I think that's a good thing for a change of pace from what the Lakers had last year with McGee and Howard. Those were two big dudes who were rim runners. They could play some defense. Really not a whole lot else, though, in their repertoire. Now, you're going to have several layers to that center position. With Marc Gasol, you've got interior defense, passing. I mean, he is one of the most gifted passing big men to ever play basketball. He's got a great basketball IQ with that ability to read and react to the other team's defense, and he has championship experience. All that is going to fit in really well with LeBron and AD. Gasol in that starting lineup will be able to serve as an extra playmaker on the floor to get guys the ball in the right spots. We've actually been seeing that in the preseason with how he's already making nice plays for the Laker guards, and it's just going to get better as the season goes on and on. So definite upgrades to Dwight Howard and JaVale McGee in that area. But Gasol, he is getting older. He is nowhere near the top 5 center in the league that he was before his trade to Toronto. And even though he's starting, I would expect Gasol to play fewer minutes than his main backup. So let's talk about him. That's going to be Montrezl Harrell. Dennis Schröder, I mentioned how good he was off the bench last year. He finished second place in 6th Man of the Year voting. Well, Montrezl Harrell actually finished first, and he won that award. Now he'll be doing the same for the Lakers. He can fill it up with lobs. He can play the pick and roll. His defense, though, isn't the best, so he is going to need to be surrounded by some pretty good defenders when he's on the floor. Plus, neither Gasol or Harrell are rim protectors like JaVale McGee and Dwight Howard were. So figuring out those defensive schemes will be something for the coaching staff to work on. All in all, though, Gasol and Harrell are upgrades from what that center position had last year. I mean, say what you want about the Lakers, but they didn't just get their championship and sit idly by. They actively went and tried to get better, and we're seeing that in that center spot. I think we'll have to wait and see what happens with it, but got to give credit where credit is due. For the rest of the bench, you've got Alex Caruso. What a story with this guy, from a two-way player to a fan favorite. I think baldness is this guy's superpower. He is steady on offense. He can stretch the floor, solid defender, really hustles when he's out there. You've got Kyle Kuzma, who of course can score, but he does need to bring energy on both ends of the floor. I think he's best off the bench, maybe a little bit overrated due to his rookie year and the fact that he plays in Los Angeles, but he is a good 8th man for a team, though. Wesley Matthews was signed in the offseason. He's a good 3-and-D player. He's a veteran who's been in the league for a really long time. Then let's talk about Talen Horton-Tucker for a second. He's a second-year man, and I remember when he was drafted last year in the 2nd round, I thought the Lakers got a steal with him. He's about 6'4", built like a wrecking ball. He can score, he can rebound, he can get deflections, assists, steals, really fills it up on the box score. And as we saw in preseason, he is ready to take on a bigger role with this team. I think he could work his way into the backup lead ball handler position for this team. He's already earned the trust and praise of guys like LeBron James and Anthony Davis and the rest of the teammates. So if Caruso and Wesley Matthews are more defensive-minded, then Talen Horton-Tucker is more offensively minded. I think he can absorb some of the scoring load when the stars are on the bench and can end up being in the rotation when everything is said and done. So what's my prediction? Assuming the Lakers stay healthy and don't make any major trades, I see them as the number 3 seed in the Western Conference and making a return trip to the NBA Finals. So why a 3 seed, you may be asking? Well, I think that they're better than that, but this is a team, remember, that's competing for a title. They're going to have the nights where they rest the stars and strategically decide which games are important for their overall goals, which is winning a championship and being fresh for the postseason. I'm on record that I think the Lakers will face the Brooklyn Nets in the finals and repeat as champions. That's what I think, but you got to let me know what you think in the comments. How far have you got the Lakers going this season? If you enjoyed this content, like the video and subscribe to the channel for new NBA videos several times a week. Make sure to click the boxes on the screen to support the channel. Hope you enjoyed everything you saw in today's video. This is Troy, and I'll catch you next time on the Half Court Report.